Hi, it's Amanda here. It's not Creative Gardener today, it's Arts and Wellness Cafe. And so today we are spending time in the outside, and we're going to be talking about a lot of things that I hope you can join me and spend time in my creative outdoor garden space as well. So we're going to find a spot that we can sit and have a little chat, and while you get comfortable and find yourself something to drink and maybe snack on while you spend some time with me. So, come on, let's go. Okay, so now that you're comfortable, and I hope that you are having a blessed day. So, how are you so far? This is a very, not a very different a very different video that I was going to do, but I just felt drawn to be outside, and it's one of my second most loveliest places to be. And so whenever possible, well, I'm out here every day basically, in the morning and in the evening, um, but I thought rather than stay inside, it's like being, is it al fresco where you go? Anyway, you know what I mean. But I wanted you to think about growth, and how you're growing, and take a bit of time to really think about what direction you want to head in, because we flip from year to year, and before you know it 10 years have passed and so many things have happened, and you think, well, where did the time go? I've always wanted to do this, but you haven't done. And I have to move out of the breeze. And just like over the past few days, we've had, especially yesterday, it was like a downpour consistently for a few hours, and so much lightning that the electricity was knocked out, um, and luckily it was only off for a few, I think about an hour at that. But we've gone where 4 or 5 hours, and it was going into the night, and it was just like, oh no. But in terms of growth, so with the rain, and I kid you not, literally out in the garden with the rain, the ground was already saturated. I'm sorry for all this movement, it's because I'm holding it. I normally have my setup, but as I say, it's impromptu, so it's just like, let's go. Um, so with the rain, everything just seemed to push themselves up even more. Now, we had, actually, just hold that thought. Oh, so I just had to shift positions, and I'm getting a bit up out here on my feet and my arms. Anyway, so thinking about the growth, um, and as I was saying, about the ground was already saturated with water, and now we've got the tree swaying in the breeze. I might have to sway as it sways. Um, and then we had a load of rain, and then it was just like sent a signal to all the plants that they needed to start growing like exponentially. Oh, I put that in. So it was just like, it seemed like overnight. I went out there one of the days, the day before previously, and it was just like, okay, yeah, I know these are things I need to do. There are things I need to do, and then the day after it rained, it was just like, oh my gosh, how did these things grow so quickly? How did they grow so quickly? So obviously they were getting the rain and the sun, and this isn't a very good position, but it's a useful one just to really test out, see if next time I'll want to record from here. But I think it's a nice backdrop. It's a different backdrop, and if you come to my Creative Gardener channel, you'll be able to see more of this. So I wanted you to think about your growth, and how are you not only giving yourself the resources, but putting in the time that you need. So to nurture yourself, to do some self-reflection, to make sure that you're getting enough sleep, that you're eating right, that you're getting the vitamins. And well, the tree behind this is a moringa tree, so it's got loads of vitamins. So I've got it on tap, technically speaking, but it's the effort that you need to make to go and get it. So it's not just going to come into my house. I'm going to have to come out into the garden and to pick it off. And so when you think about the things that you need to do to actually, I'm going to move it even to another place so that you can see from another angle, maybe. But yeah, what is it that you need to do to ensure that you can see growth from your day to day? So you don't want March to March. So we know that everything kind of just changed in March and now in October. So if we get to March, or even if we get to December, what things, how different do you want things to be? And so what do you need to do to put in place? Now, we've always got to think about, the way that we're feeling. But as I say, these sessions are almost like you have come and join me in the studio. So we had to move because my legs were getting bitten up, and the mosquitoes, they seem to be, they're extra big and they're extra hungry. Even the small ones, it's like they've not yet been taught how to be delicate with their biting, and they just kind of bite really hard to try and anyway, I was just imagining these like baby mosquitoes biting you really hard to get the blood out of your legs. Anyway, so I came into the studio and you've got a different backdrop, and I've been tidying up as well, and there's no excuse. But here's my storage system. My storage systems are getting have been overhauled. So I've got a lot more. I didn't realise I had so much fabric, and it seems to be growing every single day. And I've just let me show you this one thing. Where is it? Oh, so cool. Hold it in the way. So I went. This I actually got from the Artist Materials Bank. I haven't been down there for a while, so I'm not sure whether it might come to an end. I know that there was funding that was for a specific period of time, but it's always great to pick up loads of different things. Anyway, so I found the wool. Look at this. Aren't they lovely? And I love the colours fit in so well with some of the colours that I use. And I've been doing some, I don't know whether you can see it. You may not. You may only be able to see a peek of it. I've been doing some branch weaving, and so looking at more and more projects that I can take elements of things outside and bring them into the studio, create with them, and create something that brings nature in with the creativity, because arts and the impact that the arts can have on our health and well-being is important to me. And we also know that being outside, I just have to keep showing that I've got clothes on, but the arts and being outside and horticultural therapy has a massive impact on our health and well-being as well. So it's when you combine things like the leaves, like leaves in terms of dyeing. I've been doing some dyeing as well with avocado, and I have to show you, I've had some beautiful results I never knew. And a fellow artist on the Life book, Dylan Sarah, he did creating your own inks from avocado and the avocado seed. And I have to keep reminding myself of that, because when you say the avocado, somebody will think, oh, let me just mash up the avocado and then put it on. But I'm not sure that the fleshy bit works, but it's the seed. And when you first put it on, it gets it's a beautiful red, and I would love to be able to capture the intensity of that red, but I'll show you the ones that I've done so far. But all of the tutors, all of the teachers who gave free taster sessions, they had some brilliant lessons, and I got some really beautiful feedback from a lot of the people who'd taken my lesson, and I really appreciate it. And that's something that I also wanted to thank those who have not only joined the YouTube channel, but who have checked out some of my other platforms, my blog, my Instagram, my blog, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest even, and it's really encouraging. And I want you to know that as you encourage me and share what you found to be something that has encouraged you, as you share that encourages me as well. And you just think, oh, so I'm not working in a vacuum, because sometimes you can feel, you're in your studio and day in, day out, or at the computer, and getting some feedback is really useful. So just to kind of round it off with growth, what I want you to really think about is how you are investing in yourself and how you are taking the time to learn something new. So, it doesn't always have to be a lesson that you're buying. There's lots of people who, like myself, I've got my YouTube channel and I put free content up on there. If you want more, like my Patreons will get more behind the scenes and they'll get additional stuff. Or if you go to my blog, it's slightly different, but you'll also get updates of what I'm doing, as well as if you haven't managed to see my videos, you'll see them, a link to them as well. But it's to look at all of the places that you can learn from, and sometimes you just have to invest. Sometimes you have to pay that. Well, how much can you afford each year or each month, and put that aside and think, okay, I'm going to invest that. Because I find sometimes you find that when something's free, you don't give it as much weight as when you've paid for it, and you think, look, do you know what, I'm doing this, I've committed to this course financially as well as time, and so I'm going to do it. But see how you go. There may be courses that really jump out at you and you think, I really need to take this. Now, if you're on the fence about Lifebook, I would definitely encourage you to do it. I mean, you do get over 80, and I'm not sales pitching here, but for my lesson, I've got 2 different types of lessons coming out. So I'm going to do a clay-based one where we're using recycled materials and we're going to create a piece. And I was thinking that, for those of you who are working in your art journal, because at the end of the year, sometimes what happens is that if you're working on a journal page, that they all get together, be put together into a book. You create a life book for that year. So both of my projects, you're not necessarily able to, in their full size, do that, but you may be able to, once you've done the full size one, you can create a mini that will be able to be attached to a page that then goes into your life book. So you'll get more of that if you've signed up, and you'll get more idea of what it is. And I will do some teasers so that you can see, and my Patreon people will be able to see something in a similar kind of vein, but not that particular session. And then the second bonus session is going to be a stitch project, and we're going to be looking at some interesting techniques. we're going to be looking at some interesting techniques. It's a bonus session, so it's not going to be a full-on lesson. It's just going to be, a compact session that I hope you enjoy. So they're very different. And then what you would have done is my taster session, where you would have got the, create a background, doodle on it, paint on it, and, do different things. So it's kind of it gives you another taste of how I kind of work. So I'm working on a variety of different materials and supplies at the same time. I'm kind of, every time I catch a glimpse of myself, I can see this little bit that seems to be off on its own somehow. Anyway, yeah, so sign up, and I'll leave the link to the where you can sign up. And also there's the free, there's a 20% off the course, and as I say, you get 80 courses, but you also get lifetime access to all the taster sessions, because the taster sessions end on the 18th of October. That's when you no longer have access. So if you want to continue working, why not sign up for the life book, and you've got a continuous stream of art journal courses and art journal sessions and lessons and bonuses, and quite an amazing array of different things. Anyway, so that's that. Decide if you want to. If you need further information from me and some of my lessons, then you can email me, or contact me on DM me on Instagram or whatever. But I wanted to show you what I did with the inked projects. So and what I'll probably do is a separate video as well, just going through them. But look at these, aren't they pretty? So this is wax base. That one's a wax one. I put wax down first, and then I soaked it in the avocado. And I'll show you this one. Look at that. So this is literally, I put the avocado down. So it's acted like a resist. I put the avocado down first, and then what it did is it bled into the other areas, and then I dried it in the sun, and then washed it, and where it's come off, as you can see, and where it's cracked, so there's little elements of where it's bled through, and I think that's really lovely. So I'm looking forward to working with these, and I'll be just showing in a separate video, like just focusing on them, as opposed to having to listen to the chatter, and then that might be what you really want to see. Anyway, so that's why it's important to spend time being creative, and that's why it's important to, on a weekly basis, come and see me in the Arts and Wellness Cafe. I don't know what you decided to drink today, but make sure it's something that you can then go back and do some creating. So I'm not really into, I do have inks, but and so all I did with the paper and the ink is just splatter some on, and that is literally, that's the hardened avocado. It's been blended, but I was just seeing how it would, what kind of marks it would leave, and I literally just, when I was putting it on the fabric, I literally just put these down. When I lifted up the fabric, there was like a little pool, so that's what I then put it down in. And I would use this like as a background. I would tear it up and then put it on a art journal page. And with this, I'd probably go over this with some clear gesso, because I don't want like it attracting insects at all or anything. It does have clove oil in it, so it's antibacterial, so it shouldn't be a problem. But just to be on the safe side, I would probably go over this with and it's actually quite interesting. I never even really looked at it. It was just literally playing. So I would just put something over this, and I did it on what is it? A sticker, not sticker paper. It's kind of sticker paper, but this is what do they call them? It's like sticker paper basically. If you were to print off a label or a tag, you'd print it off on one of these. So a label, it's a label. Anyway, so yeah, that's what I would do with that. But I thought the fabric was really nice, and what I guess I do when I'm thinking about my process, without going into too much detail now, is that I try and see where things can connect. So whilst I'm doing mixed media and I'm doing making marks in my art journal, I'm making marks on fabric and stitching on fabric, but the stitches are kind of making marks. And there was a third one, so there was the clay. So when you think of the clay, when you think of some of my pieces, I'm continuing to make marks, or I bring in marks on the faces or on the body, or I use embellishments to create, not to create the marks, but to give that appearance of, patterns on either the body or the face. So in recapping and to bringing it all to a close, think about your growth. Think about the time that you're spending and that you're investing in yourself. Think about the research that you can do. So, use, the platforms like research. You can go and watch loads of my YouTube videos. If you're into art journaling, I'm going to be putting more on about the slow stitching, and also talk a bit more about my fabric sculptures, fabric and clay sculptures that I haven't really shared as much, but just really sharing everything. It's just like, I love to create, and so I dip in and I allow the tools to be the way that I express myself, as opposed to say, well, I call myself a mixed media artist, but mixed media encompasses everything, and it doesn't necessarily mean that I will just be, say, if I work in a journal using collage and paint and blah blah blah, it would be stitch, paint, clay, and all the other things in between. So I'm glad you could join me. Please do let me know what you're working on and how you've been, and also drop in the comments details of the way in which you are hoping that you will grow. If there are things that you would like to see more of on this channel, then please also leave a comment, but also share how you are going to invest in yourself. If it is to learn more about a particular area, then let me know. And if it's something that I've done, because if you can think of mixed media across the board, I've probably done it or experimented with it, or I don't say anything's my hobby. I just do everything, basically. I just do everything. Anyway, so let me know how you're getting on, and if you are new here, welcome. Thank you for subscribing, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please consider doing so, and I'll see you next time.